Well, it is certainly an honor to have such a distinguished group of guests, speakers, colleagues, and participants gathered here today. We have come together to dive into some important discussions about the future of legal education and justice delivery system in Commonwealth and United Arab Emirates. This event is sure to be filled with new ideas, diverse perspectives, and meaningful exchanges that will enrich all of us. I would like to thank our Honorable Founder President Dr. Ashok Chauhan, our respected Chancellor Dr. Atul Chauhan, who always inspire us at Amity to achieve higher and better. Special thanks to our CEO Dr. Wajahat Hussain, who is our guiding lamp. Now it is my great pleasure to invite Dr. Saif Al-Siari, Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Dubai, to deliver the welcome address.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and valued colleagues. It is an honor to welcome you all here today to the Commonwealth-UAE Conclave 2024, organized by Amity University, Dubai, and the Commonwealth Legal Education Association. Our theme, fostering legal education and justice delivery in the Commonwealth and the United Arab Emirates, opportunities and challenges, captures the reason why we are here today to explore how legal education can drive progress, justice, and equity. We are privileged here today to have notable dignitaries, including the Honorable Balakrishnan, from former Chief Justice of India, whose contributions inspires us all. I also thank Dr. Sivakumar, President of CLEA, for his dedication and advancing legal education. Warm welcome to Mr. Satish, His Excellency Mr. Satish Kumar, Consulate General of India, and all esteemed speakers and guests here today. This conclave is a platform for exchanging ideas, learning from one another, and communicating between the Commonwealth and UAE legal field. I encourage you all to get engaged fully, share your perspectives, and use this opportunity to engage in this different legal field matters. Thank you all for coming here, and let's make this day meaningful and impactful. Thanks again.
Thank you for your inspiring words and for welcoming us all so warmly. We truly appreciate your leadership and the support of Amity University Dubai in hosting this event. Let me quote Aristotle. He once said, "Law is a reason free from passion." This reminds us that justice must not only be fair, but also grounded in reason and clarity. As we engage in today's conversations, let's focus on how can we continue to shape legal education that fosters judgment, fairness, and integrity so that future legal professionals serve their communities with wisdom. On this note, we are honored to welcome His Excellency Mr. Satish Kumar Sivan, who has assumed the charge as Consular General of India to Dubai and Northern Emirates to deliver the presidential address. We are delighted to have you here, sir.
Honorable Dr. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, Dr. Saif Al-Selairi, Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Dr. Shivakumar, President of the Commonwealth Legal Education Association, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to join you at this important conclave and thank Amity University for taking this initiative in partnership with Commonwealth Legal Education Association. I am doubly delighted as I am in Amity twice in a matter of 2 weeks, and it is always a pleasure to be present in such an iconic institution which is a pride of India. Robust legal education forms the backbone of justice systems. It nurtures the next generation of legal practitioners, policymakers, and thought leaders who will uphold the principles of fairness, equity, and impartiality. I commend Commonwealth Legal Education Association for their work. In today's interconnected world, robust legal systems serve as a bridge connecting diverse societies, fostering stability and promoting progress. In my view, the Commonwealth, with its shared heritage of legal traditions, and the UAE, a nation exemplifying rapid development and forward-looking governance, provide a fertile ground for collaboration in advancing legal education and justice delivery. I am not a legal expert, but let me share you some brief thoughts on the opportunities in the India-UAE bilateral legal corridor. Our two countries today boast a bilateral trade of $85 billion as of March 2024, which is set to breach $100 billion of just non-oil trade within the next few years. There is a vibrant two-way investment scenario, especially from India into this country. An estimate puts the number of Indian companies registered under Dubai chambers alone at 90,000. This apart, Indian-owned companies are the largest group in all the Emirates, including the free zones across the country. There is, therefore, immense potential for commercial law and arbitration law practitioners. In this scenario, institutions in India and UAE can look at exchange programs, collaborating on digital learning platforms, and focusing on emerging areas like fintech, AI, cybersecurity, etc. Separately, with international arbitration gaining prominence, specialized training can prepare students for global challenges. The UAE's growing status as an arbitration hub and India's robust legal expertise in alternative dispute resolution mechanisms provide opportunities for cooperation in streamlining cross-border dispute resolution mechanisms. In terms of justice delivery, UAE has been a pioneer in leveraging technology for smart courts and online dispute resolution. India, too, has seen success with its e-courts, digital hearings, and digital case management initiatives. A mutual exchange of best practices can accelerate the efficiency of our respective legal systems. Similarly, sharing experiences and frameworks for legal aid can ensure inclusivity and availability of justice to those who cannot afford the same. While many of these aspects will be covered in the deliberations today, I believe bringing Indian legal education to UAE can also provide great career opportunity to the nearly 300,000 Indian students studying in Indian curriculum schools in UAE. I was happy to note that Amity already has this legal program which started in 2018, wherein about 100 students are enrolled, and I would encourage more Indian institutions to go the same path. I would go further to state that Indian legal institutions can explore collaboration with UAE counterparts to provide joint degrees, certifications, and also organize training programs in niche areas such as arbitration, fintech, cybersecurity, maritime law, transnational crime, among others. I'm sure this conclave today is the first, yet the crucial step in achieving close collaboration between India and UAE in the field of justice systems and legal education. We should take advantage of the ideas generated today to proceed ahead aggressively in these areas. I once again wish you all a very productive day of engagement. Thank you.
Thank you for your insightful and impactful presidential address. We greatly appreciate your words and your continued support. It is an honor to have you with us today. I would like to invite Dr. Saif Al-Siari, Vice Chancellor, and Pro-Vice Chancellor Dr. Rafid Al-Khadar to present token of appreciation to His Excellency Mr. Satish Kumar Sivan. May I request Dr. Rajneesh Dean Haas to please join us on this stage? We are privileged to have Professor Dr. S. Shivkumar, President of Commonwealth Legal Education Association and Senior Professor at ILI, Indian Law Institute, New Delhi, to deliver the introductory address. Professor Shivkumar, the floor is yours.
Honorable Dr. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, former Chief Justice of India. Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Chief Patron, Commonwealth Legal Education Association. He is joining in online, virtual mode. Honorable Consul General of India to Dubai, Mr. Satish Kumar Sivan. Learned Attorney General for India, R. Venkatramani. He is also joining in virtual mode. Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Dubai, Dr. Saif Al-Salari. Pro-Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rafid Al-Khadar. Dean, Professor Rajneesh. Director, Head, Mr. Nadeen. Head of the Department, Head Law, Sagi Geeta Setu, esteemed faculty colleagues of Amity, my CLA colleagues present here, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at the inaugural session of the Commonwealth-UAE Conclave on Legal Education and Justice Delivery, hosted by Amity University and Commonwealth Legal Education Association. On behalf of CLIA, I extend my warmest greetings to each one of you. The presence of legal luminaries, academicians, and policymakers from around the world is the testament to the importance of the discussion we are about to embark upon. As we gather at this conclave today to discuss the theme, fostering legal education and enhancing justice delivery in the Commonwealth and UAE, opportunities and challenges, we are reminded of CLIA's founding ideals. Since its establishment, the Commonwealth Legal Education Association has been at the forefront of promoting excellence in legal education across Commonwealth. Its initiatives aimed at enhancing legal system, fostering knowledge sharing, and addressing the dynamic demand of global jurisprudence have had a far-reaching impact. Commonwealth Attorney Generals and Solicitor Generals Conference we organized in February at New Delhi, and insightfully monthly lectures that we used to organize bring together experts to address pressing legal issues, highlights CLIA's unwavering dedication to these goals. Also, the outcome of a recent conference we organized at Kumaragam in the month of August on technology, transport, especially in water transport, in the form of a declaration, is set to provide critical insight and actionable recommendation for drafting a policy for sustainable transport, especially in metro. Government of India is planning to have 35 metro connectivity in 13 countries. We about to prepare this document and submit to the government in the month of May. I am delighted that Amity University, Dubai is hosting this prestigious conference as part of the globally acclaimed Amity Education Group. The university has established itself a beacon of excellence in legal education. I still remember the support of Dr. Ashok Chauhan, we used to say AKC, from 99, I have that association with him in the Commonwealth Legal Education Association. Same time, Honorable Justice Balakrishnan sir also, we have that common walk together in the initial stage along with Professor N.R. Madhav Menon. It's a strong focus on research-driven learning and fostering global collaboration aligns seamlessly with the objectives of this conclave. That's why Amity University is having a joint aspect in this aspect. I acknowledge the effort of Dr. Sagi Gita Setu, whose dedication and leadership have been instrumental in making this event a success. Her efforts reflected the commitment of Amity Law School and CLIA to driving transformative change in the legal education and practice. As we gather to deliberate on advancing legal education and justice delivery, I feel that it is my duty to honor my guru and mentor and one of the most transformative figure in this field, and he was the president of Commonwealth Legal Education Association. After that, India got the presidency in the last year through me. Professor N.R. Madhav Menon, popularly called as the father of modern legal education in India. Professor Menon's visionary contribution reshaped how legal education is perceived and delivered. His pioneering efforts, such as founding national law schools and introducing the integrated 5-year law program, have become the gold standard in legal education. His belief that the legal education should serve as a tool for societal transformation resonate deeply with the objectives of this conclave. In Professor Menon's words, I quote, "Legal education must combine knowledge, skill, and values to meet the demands of a changing society, unquote. Inspired by his legacy, the Commonwealth Legal Education, along with Amity, we are gathered here today to discuss how we can uphold the sense of ideals while adapting the challenges of rapidly evolving global legal landscape. Our theme today highlights two critical facets of contemporary legal discourse: fostering robust legal education and enhancing the mechanism of justice delivery. Legal education, as we know, must evolve to remain relevant in a world shaped by globalization, rapid technological advancement, and complex transnational challenges. This conclave also highlights the importance of adopting legal curricula to equip future lawyers with the tools needed to navigate such changes effectively. At the same time, justice delivery systems across the globe are being reimagined through the integration of technology and innovative legal reforms. The UAE, with its forward-looking approach and adoption of digital platform, offers valuable insight for Commonwealth nations aspiring to achieve efficiency and inclusivity in their justice systems. This conclave is a unique platform for diverse stakeholders, judges, attorneys, policymakers, academicians, and so importantly, students, to engage in meaningful dialogue. Through the sharing of ideas and best practices, we aim to address mainly three important critical questions. Firstly, how can we harmonize legal standards across jurisdiction while respecting cultural and legal pluralism? Next, what role can technology play in bridging gap in justice delivery? The third, how do we foster ethical and inclusive practices in the legal profession? Reflecting on the words of former Secretary General Mr. Kofi Annan, I quote, "Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the promise of progress in every society, in every family," unquote. This conclave aspires to be the guiding force for generating such knowledge and fostering collaborations that surpass borders. The agenda over the rest of the day is carefully designed to explore the core aspect of legal education and justice delivery. From exploring the role of artificial intelligence and machine learning in legal practice to addressing the complexities of legal ethics in the digital world, each session promises to be intellectually stimulating. The sub-themes such as digital platform for access to justice, diversity in the legal profession, and harmonizing legal standards across jurisdictions are not merely topic for discussion, but severe as calls to action. Hence, I have no doubt in saying that this conclave is not just an event. It is a movement towards shaping future of law and justice. As we engage in this discussion, let us keep in the mind the broader goal of building resilient legal systems and that uphold the ideals of fairness, equity, and justice. Let us dedicate ourselves to the service of advancing legal education and justice, ensuring that the benefits of our effort are felt by communities worldwide. I once again extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee, particularly Dr. Sagi and the entire team, Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, the deans at Amity Law School, under their guidance, meticulous planning and dedication. This conclave is in place. A special thanks to CLIA members, especially Dr. Vikram Singh Arya, Mr. Ayyappa Mani, Dr. Girish Shankar, Professor Kumaralingam, and Mr. Prashant Barua. And also a special mention is needed for Mr. Sandana Krishnan, lifetime president of Commonwealth Lawyers Association. I hope that this conclave emerges as a tribute to the power of collaboration and the shared commitment of legal community, shaping a just and unique future. I forgot to mention my Joint General Secretary's name, Ruchi Sharma. She is working with Dr. Sagi last 2 months for materializing this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor S. Shiv Kumar, for your insightful introduction and for setting the stage for our discussions on the future of legal education. Your leadership as president of Commonwealth Legal Education Association continues to inspire us all. Now we have a special message from Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Judge, Supreme Court of India and Chief Patron, CLEA, Commonwealth Legal Education Association, who is unable to attend the conference due to some inevitable circumstances. However, His Lordship has been gracious enough to send a video message addressing the attendees of the conclave. On behalf of Amity University, Dubai, we extend sincere gratitude for your message.
Greetings to all esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, and participants. As the Chief Patron of the Commonwealth Legal Education Association, it is both an honor and privilege to address this august gathering at the Commonwealth-UAE Conclave on Bridging Nations, Advancing Justice, Shaping Tomorrow. Although I regret not being able to join you in person, I am deeply inspired by the collective vision and commitment of this conference. The theme of the conference, Fostering Legal Education and Enhancing Justice Delivery in the Commonwealth and UAE, Opportunities and Challenges, resonates deeply with the pressing need for collaboration in advancing legal education and justice delivery across borders. In today's digital era, our ability to innovate, adapt, and integrate technology into the legal sphere is no longer a choice but a necessity. Justice delivery, powered by cutting-edge technology, promises efficiency, transparency, and accessibility, which are the core pillars of a fair and just society. The sessions in this conclave are designed to delve into some of the most pressing issues and transformative opportunities in the legal sphere, from exploring the evolving role of legal education in addressing global challenges to examining how technology is reshaping legal careers. These discussions will pave the way for innovative approaches and solutions. Moreover, fostering a dynamic, inclusive legal education system is pivotal. It equips future legal professionals with the skills to address challenges like cross-border disputes, climate justice, and harmonizing diverse legal frameworks. This conclave serves as a platform to explore how the Commonwealth and UAE can lead the charge in setting exemplary standards for legal education and practice. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Amity University, Dubai, the CLIA team, and all the organizers for creating this remarkable forum. May the discussions and outcomes here pave the way for transformative policies and partnerships. Thank you, and I wish you a productive and inspiring conclave.
Now it is with great pride and respect that we welcome our esteemed Chief Guest, Honorable Dr. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, the former Chief Justice of India and current Chairman of the Commission for Examining Scheduled Caste Status for Dalit Converts. Personally, sir, I'm honored to have you here from citing your prominent judgments like Mandal Commission, Sanjay Dutt versus State of Maharashtra, and Bellary mining case, to teaching them to my students over here. The journey has taught me a lot. Your remarkable contributions to the legal field have left an indelible mark on the judicial landscape, and we are deeply honored to have you here today to deliver the inaugural address. Dr. Justice Balakrishnan, we eagerly look forward to your words of wisdom. Please.
I'm very happy to participate in this conference for legal education and also judicial this justice delivery system. Both are subjects very close to my heart. So, Dr. Saif Al-Slari, Vice Chancellor of this prestigious university, Professor Dr. Sivakumar of Indian Law Institute, Mr. Sadish Kumar Shivan is the Consul General, so Professor A. Lashmi Nath, Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Rafid Al-Khadar, Pro Vice Chancellor of this university, and other distinguished guests who are present here, and dear students. The legal education has undergone drastic changes, but still it can be reformed to a great extent, legal education. I am one who studied a 2-year law course, only BL, FL and BL. It entered in 1967, I think. Then it was 3-year course. So that now it is, I am told that a 5-year course. It is a change that has taken place. It is good that the legal education is taken seriously. Not only the course, the subjects also should be changed drastically, and the Bar Council and the other educational experts should pay their attention to streamline the various subjects which are to be studied by the students. Then only they would be able to meet the challenges when they go to the court. Now they sometimes find it difficult to face the judges after the 5-year course or 3-year course. They go to court and they feel utter strangers. They are not able to say how to do the work. Especially in some criminal cases, they do not know how to cross-examine, how to conduct re-examination, how to conduct the deal with the witness, how to deal with the opponent counsel, all these, the prosecutors. So these are all techniques which should be studied by the students. Of course, there is a moot court competition in various colleges, but not very effectively. Moot court competition helped the students to prepare the case file and also to the talents of arguments. But the court techniques are sometimes very, very peculiar. That is to be learned by the student. That is the legal education. Now it is artificial intelligence that they do not even appear in court. They all face some eminent lawyers are sitting in London and arguing the case in the Supreme Court of India. So so much changes have taken place. But basically, how the judicial system should serve the community, serve the people in the delivery system? Are they getting proper the justice from the court? And we cannot affirmatively say that it is now the courts are really giving service, the proper service to the litigants, because in some of the courts, the large pendency, not only large pendency, the cases are, criminal appeals are pending for the last 14, 15 years. That is something which is very, very difficult to understand. So a case the trial should at least be over within 2 years. The appeal should be over within 2 years, and at least within a minimum of 5 years, it could be finished in the appellate court, either. And the Supreme Court, of course, it is SLP, and it is not a large number of cases come large number of cases come, but it is ultimately the High Court, the criminal justice system, they should be able to dispose of the appeal within a period of 5 years. I don't want to name the high courts where the large number of cases are pending in our system in India. So that is the justice delivery system. That is legal education. Only I can affirmatively say that in states where there is a good legal education, the lawyers are better. They are able to face the situation. They are able to meet the challenges. They are the best courts in India. Of course, India and the Amity Law School I must congratulate Mr. Chauhan, a great, brilliant man who has started this chain of law schools, universities. The one is here in Noida. I am closely associated with that Noida Amity University. One is in Jaipur. I am also closely associated with the Jaipur University. And here, so the service to the education he has devoted. It is something very, very marvelous, which we cannot, I don't think any other individual has done so much devotion in the field of education. That is in all, not only legal education, but other branches, various other disciplines. Noida schools, the various other disciplines are there. The legal education, we are all concerned with legal education because we are anxious to give justice to the all persons. Those who come to the court, they are entitled to get justice and inclusive justice to all people. That is one. I must also say, now large number of girl students are joining. Girls are joining the law colleges. It's a number is increased, but there is no proportionate their presence in the courts, and they should be given a proper the help. But the bar should help the women lawyers in a great way. Even the Supreme Court, I think his judges 2 or 3 interns are allowed. There should be a proper, at least it can be 30% of the interns should be from girls, should be reserved for these. They should get more opportunities because they are joining in the law schools. Now, unlike the male counterpart, they have got difficulties. They have to look after sometimes when they have to look after the family. Then they have to, but the male, they can maintain the family and have the profession. But it is very difficult for the women lawyers to, they should be given some more opportunity to avoid the discrimination. That is, it is for the Bar Council to do it. And the Bar Council should legal education, then continuing legal education, then also they should, sometimes it is, in America there is The bar exam also is there. They have to pass once in 3 years or 5 years. They have to pass exam also as part of the continuing legal education. There is a sort of test. Whether it is now it is proven or not, I do not know. But the Amity schools are giving guidance, help in the field of legal education. They can help in many ways in the field of legal education and in the justice delivery system also. And I am happy that the Commonwealth Legal Education is taking interest in organizing these programs. It will advance the cause of justice, advance the cause of legal education, and in that way, moreover, inclusively must be at the heart of these reforms. Legal education should not only reflect diversity of our societies, but also actively contribute to dismantling barriers and exclude underrepresented groups. Scholarships, mentorship, and culturally responsive teaching methods are just a few ways we can achieve this. We must remember that investing in education is investing in the foundation of our future. Modernizing legal education is not just a commitment to progress, it is the key to unlocking sustainable development for generations to come. So it is all the more very, very important that the Amity law schools are doing to the service to the society. And I am happy to note that the large number of students are joining the law course, and they are helping to have our judicial system more productive, more helpful, more serviceable, and people come to the court when they have got problems. Every case is a human problem. When there he wins or loses, but it is whether it is a civil case or a criminal case, it is basically a human problem. That is it surrounds the whole family around that litigation. So we have to see every case as a very, very, very seriously and decide with utmost care and caution, for which the expert assistance of the lawyers are required. How an expert assistance of lawyers are required? When you get the best legal education. When you get, then you would be able to do well in the court, and the courts are hearing the lawyers and deciding the matters. Now, of course, they are artificial intelligence. They are not physically present in court in most of the courts. I do not know what is in these Dubai, Kuwait, and all these Arab Emirates countries. I do not know how the system works. But nevertheless, whether it is that artificial intelligence or not, the lawyers, it is only with the help of lawyers we can render justice to the parties. So we must give importance to legal education, and I am deeply thankful to the Amity schools for giving importance to the studies in law. In India, there are mushrooming of law colleges, but I don't know whether the law commission, the bar council is paying that much interest in improving the legal education. I'm happy that Amity is taking interest in that. Thank you. Thank you very much for this year's inaugural defense.
Thank you, Your Honorable Dr. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, for your invaluable inaugural address. Your distinguished career and dedication to justice continue to inspire us all. I would like to invite Dr. Saif Al-Siari, Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Dubai, Dr. Rifid Al-Khadar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Dubai, and Dr. Rajneesh Dean Haas, as well as Ashish Mehta, AMA lawyers, to please join us on stage to felicitate and present mementos to our distinguished guests and speakers. Honorable Dr. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, Professor Dr. Shiv Kumar, I would like to request Dean Haas, Dr. Rajneesh, to join us on stage. Vikram Singh Arya, Dean Engineering, Dr. Satish Kannan, Dean Business School, Dr. Ali Minasa, Ruchi Sharma, Dr. Sagi Setu, may I request Dr. Ayappa Mani to please join us on stage? I request Dr. Nadeem to join us on the stage, please. Do we have Ashish Mehta here? Ashish Mehta, kindly join us on this stage, please. Thank you, sir. Well, next we move on to our plenary session on the topic of justice delivery and legal education in the digital age, innovations, challenges, and future pathways. We are honored to have Honorable Mr. Justice A. Muhammad Mushtaq, Judge High Court of Kerala. He is joining us online from India, and we certainly appreciate his valuable contribution to this session.
Warm good morning to all. I congratulate Amity Law School and Commonwealth Legal Education partnering on an important topic. As a judge, as an administrator in the capacity of a computer committee chairman, we have been working for a long on the initiatives of IT initiatives of judiciary. My experience tells us how important this topic for us. To understand the relevance of legal education and justice delivery system in the era of digital technology, we need to go back to the history and introspect ourselves. History would guide us what we require today and for future. The idea of justice as a human value evolved through centuries. On invention of agriculture, on a settlement of people in around habitat of agriculture, they thought they need law and justice as a human value. The discourse in the past, the historical perspective would witness that. From Greek to the present information age. The civilization passed through different sphere or different phase of life. From Stone Age to Information Age, we find the different challenges we faced. It was more an exercise to define justice. The Greek attempted and find out justice as a virtue through various discourses and dialogues. Abrahamic religion tried to define justice as ordained by the God Almighty and tried to develop the ideas related to justice through different concepts. Islam tried to attempt to define it through principles of fairness, more akin to the modern theory of roles, theory of justice. Christianity attempted to define through the concept of love. Parallelly, our own traditions attempt to define justice in different form of dharma. So this history would showcase how the idea of justice developed. But modern history would tell from the page of the kind of justice now we follow from the era of age of enlightenment, the age of reasoning, and the collapse of Roman Empire. From Westphalia Treaty onwards, modern histories would tell us the justice has been defined through principles of natural reasonings. So here, from the age of reasoning, we have concepts of related to justice based on the natural principles. And almost all the civilized nations follow some sort of the binding document in terms of constitutions as a guiding factor to define justice. If you look at the history and attempt to define justice, you will all find it is in relation to bind the relationship between human and state. So law school had a very minimum role in the understand and in the sense, apart from educating or imparting learnings to scholars through a very structured syllabus of legal curriculum evolved through the periods. But today we are altogether in different phase. We face enormous challenges. We created tools, and that tools are now defining our life. The challenges is between machine on one hand and human on the other side. The technology penetrates to different walks of our life, whether it be related to economic factors or field, political or social or cultural life. Wherever we find there is a involvement of technology, and that is impacting on our life. And historically, all the laws evolved, all the justice have been conceptualized is based on human understanding it. That is human element, you find the presence of human element. The moment I say that human element is human subconscious mind, that speaks about law and justice. But today, we had altogether deal with the different challenge posed by the machines. How do you going to define justice? As you all know, the machines do not have subconscious mind. So then how are you going to define justice? What are the principles that would bind? And this is where the discourses required from the academic level to define the justice. If you look at the kind of development that's happening around, autonomous vehicle, the main driverless car, the robotic doctors, the challenges posed by avatars in metaverse, committing crimes. The avatars is a digital presence of human. You might have heard many news coming from different jurisdictions, whether the US and UK. There are reported cases of female complaining that they have been groped Their avatars have been groped and they felt the pain. How do you define laws and justice here? The tortious liabilities. As you know, the tortious liability principles evolve in relation to human conduct, their omissions and commissions. That means there should be a diligence on his part. What a prudent man could do in a particular circumstances, that is the criteria. So how do you define a prudent man's criteria? What causes a negligence? We know in the physical sense, but what would be the negligence in the digital sphere of our life? These are the big challenges we face. There has been an attempt from the Europe to regulate artificial intelligence, but that is a minimal, classifying it high risk, low risk, and medium risk, etc., in relation to regulatory compliance. But what are the jurisprudential principles we need to follow? Human rights have been violated by artificial intelligence. We all know that artificial intelligence can also create another artificial intelligence product. It would have an impact on IPR. So all laws we either to follow will have to be rewritten in the new era of digital age. The justice as a concept will have to be reshaped and remodeled in the era of digital age. If you try to fix those issues with the laws we now follow, then it results in catastrophe. We cannot fix the issues emanates in the digital space with the law that we follow in the physical space. We need to have altogether a new jurisprudence. Idealizing justice, idealizing human values. That's where the law schools need to play a very important role. How human relationships should govern with the machine, and the impact that can create in a social culture, that means like any other non-state actors. How we can create an accountability to the artificial intelligence. These are all matters for us to probe. If the artificial intelligence violates human rights, how we can make artificial intelligence is accountable. I think it has to start from the academics. You read more into law. We, as a judge, make law as a practicable and related to justice. We need to have a new philosophers like Rawls and many other philosophers in the past. Unless there is a philosophy of law, we'll face a huge challenges in adjudicating and rendering justice. As I cautioned earlier, if you try to extend those laws we followed in the physical sphere into the digital space, that will result in catastrophe. So we need to think aloud. We need to focus more on developing jurisprudence and philosophy that would bind the technology and human. And that's where the legal education assumes so much of importance. If you try to answer those issues with the curriculum we follow, we may not be able to find answers to it. The university has to move forward and go beyond the structured curriculum now being followed, and to try to develop new concepts, new ideals to define justice. And that exactly the conferences like this assume so much of importance. I wish the organizers and all the participants all the best. And I apologize for my inability to travel to Dubai and attend this conference. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind.
Partner Abdullah Al-Kabi, advocate and legal consultants. He is an associate of Chancery Chambers, having an expertise in mergers and acquisition, technology transfer, and estate planning. So, may we please have you on the stage?
Good morning to everybody. It's great to see you all here on this Saturday morning. And it's great to reconnect with law students after a long while, because we don't have many law colleges here. This is the one and only law colleges, probably outside of India, approved by Bar Council of India. Now, the topic of today, as you all know, is about how technology can be used in the legal profession as well as legal education. I think to some degree, people of my generation are a little bit hostile or maybe less lenient to technology for the reason that we are used to these tools only in the last 2 decades or slightly more. But the younger generation have a very, very good affinity towards these tools. So the immediate fallback for them to have for any of the requirement is the tools. So I think that needs to be recognized, and its usefulness is for all of us to see every minute. It's, simple ordering of food to accessing the banking and financial transactions to paying the bills. Everything is done through digital means or online platforms. As lawyers, we are still, I would think, a reluctant starters, despite the fact that the need of emulating technology is extremely important in our profession. The reason being, if I speak about India, the backlog of cases. You're sitting on a 50 million plus cases pending for years and years, and yet we are one of the late entrant in emulating technologies. Needless to mention, India is in the forefront in terms of generating technology devices and technology means, and the whole world recognizes these aspects. So it's just the openness to embrace the technology that is required as far as India is concerned. Now let's talk about UAE for a minute. Since the onset of COVID, the courts in this country are largely functioning online. It's continuing to this date. And I understand about 500,000 hearings were held in the year 2021, when remotely in the midst of COVID. That explains how much of openness, how much of digital embracement UAE has offered. So it's very critical that, and one more point I want to mention here is that a lawyer sitting in Ajman or Sharjah or Alain or Abu Dhabi or Dubai can appear in all the courts in the UAE without having to move out of his office. Put this back if you take this back to India, imagine a person sitting in a remote village being able to appear in various courts of the country without having to travel, without having to make the clients pay the bills, and with such an ease, both from the point of view of the lawyers and from the point of view of clients, even for the judiciary as such, is a great compliment. And unless we start that walk now, we will be left behind in this race. Tomorrow, probably, our lawyers may have opportunity to represent themselves in various courts across the world, in New Zealand, in Australia, in Canada. And that, because in terms of skill sets, in terms of their ability to perform, I can't think we are next to anybody. So we would be missing on a big opportunity if, for example, if we are reluctant in adopting the necessary technologies. Who should do this? It has to come at both the government as well as judiciary levels, when I'm talking about profession. When I'm talking about universities and colleges, I'm talking about at the level of management of the universities. Because we should produce students, we should produce courts which are tailored or which is comparable with anywhere in the world. So if our students are given the opportunity to participate in seminars, in job exhibitions, etc., which are happening in different parts of the world, they would get opportunity to work in different parts of the world, and that should be made possible in this day and time. Our students can attend classes remotely in different parts of the world, different universities. They can get to know about the culture of working, exchange ideas. They can connect with peers in those jurisdictions, have friends, and get various opportunities. So it's extremely important that both at the level of legal profession as well as at the level of legal education, we have to be open to embrace the technology. At the same time, having said that, it is very important that the safeguard which Justice Mushtaq mentioned about, or the pitfalls that we may have in adopting the technologies, would have to be mindful of. The reason being that if you throw the people's private information into the digital world, because digital world carries the information in seconds, from countries to countries, and it's unstoppable. It's not just a piece of paper ending up in the hands of another person next door. You go to the court and you try to find and get it back. This doesn't work like this anymore. So it's extremely important that the necessary infrastructure is put in place to ensure that such mishap doesn't happen. Who can do this? Of course, primarily it's the government, and secondarily it's the judiciary, which is in charge of justice delivery, has to work with the government to ensure that we have the necessary infrastructure in place for XYZ reasons. And the law students can play a very pivotal role in this matter for the simple reason that one is they are savvy of technology, the other is they are full of energies, and the energies have to be employed for the cause of justice system. There are financial, as far as judiciary is concerned, judiciary has to make necessary budgets, and we have to be very proactive to make budgets, to see to what extent the government is ready to fund and what are the sources we can have to have the necessary funds to have this infrastructure in place so that the privacy of the people are respected and the information, the proper firewalls and proper other IT measures are in place to ensure that technologies are not abused by the culprits, because technology is amenable for corruption and abuse. Considering that the benefits far outweighs the consequence of misuse, especially considering that we have to deliver justice at the doorstep of the people. That's an obligation of both judiciary as well as the government of any country. The rule of law fails without which. It's extremely important that that is made possible, and the reluctance has no room here, simply. The obstacles are plenty for against adopting technology, and one of it is there could be always vested interest. Say, for example, if somebody from a small city in India is going to argue his case in Delhi or in Mumbai or even in Supreme Court, it will deny opportunity of many other top lawyers in the country, or many other. But that's a very, very limited way of looking at things. The opportunities are plenty in India, especially because it's such a large country. Very narrow minority are able to litigate. A large number of people are presently not able to litigate for the reason of affordability, legal access, etc. So, just if every other business is considering country like India as an opportunity, because there are huge potential, as professionals, as lawyers, we shouldn't be looking the other way around, that our opportunities will be taken away. It works simply the other way. It hugely increases the opportunity. And even otherwise, we have no reason to sit on 50 million cases undisposed of for years, where we should be expecting twice, thrice the number of cases to come by way of adopting technologies and operating on a lesser cost. So this is so as far as so it's, as far as I am concerned, I feel a joint participation between law students and the judiciary. When I say law students represented by universities, I think there are about 1,200 law schools across India. If these universities makes presentation to the government and the judiciary with their ideas on how our backlogs can be attended to, and I think that initiative has to happen, and that initiative will do huge good for the country and its judicial climate. As far as UAE is concerned, UAE is one of the very early adopters of most cutting-edge technologies. If I can say about India as somebody who is capable of producing, UAE is a country which is capable of adopting and implementing straight away without any hesitation. This is the attribute of this country, and India needs to adopt. India needs to not only produce this technology tools for others to use, India should use for itself so that its people benefits hugely. The students of law here have, this country being a country which is very international and connected to the world as no other country, should carry a vision that is far and wide, to be able to not miss any opportunity be it in India, be it elsewhere. India being a closed door, closer to home, and a large market. The lawyers trained here should keep an eye both about Indian legal system as well as the rest of the world. I wish you all very best. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you for your insight, sir. It does resonate with the Julius Stone approach when he calls us lawyers as social engineers. And hence, legal education is nothing but to bring revolution and social construct. On this note, it is my privilege to welcome Dr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India and patron CLEA, to deliver a special address on the topic. Online.
Congregation of people from both India and that part of the world which is coming very close in more than one way to Indian people, Indian nation, and Indian understanding. Now, Amity University is doing a wonderful job there, and the idea of having a conference today was partly the discussions we had when we came to Dubai very recently, and therefore I think it's my very sincere apologies for not having initiated the dialogue but not being there. I hope that very soon I'll compensate in a bigger way when we will reassemble again and then try to take stock of all our concerns relating to enhancing the contents and the scope of legal education in the justice delivery system. And if we're able to use the platforms of Commonwealth Legal Education Association and Amity University, and I will keep talking about whenever we assemble on the platform of CLEA, we keep talking about, and I think it's important to move towards the new Commonwealth more away from what the Commonwealth of the colonial period gets over. So the new Commonwealth will not look at boundaries. The new Commonwealth of legal education will not look at race, color, caste, creed, and geographical considerations of nations. The new Commonwealth, like the United Nations, will probably look at how through legal education, which my venerable professor, Dr. Madhavan, always used to tell me that legal education one day will take a new avatar or a new framework of ceasing to be mere education in law, but education in justice. So legal education to be transformed into justice education. And as we move away from all the lingering divisions of humanity across the globe into a global commons where beyond the economic and financial transactions which may build a better globe for all of us tomorrow, we need to have some foundations where every one of us, both within the country and as countries and as a global commons, can feel confident about probably unfurling the next generation of global understanding on law and justice. The United Nations has done a lot of good work in this area, but regardless of that, still we have our own domestic concerns where we need domestic countries, domestic governments have to discharge responsibilities relating to national concerns of equality, equal claims, equal participation in nation building, and through that process, the comfort and solace that each and every one of us are considered equal and regarded equal in status in all its expansive sense. It's in that context, I suppose, legal education and enhancing justice delivery will have to look at beyond the traditional, conventional study of law. And while all of us need to study law as a profession within the requirements, the demands of domestic frontier, we also need to look at how such studies can bring about transformation in our understanding of the very ideas of justice being done to different sections of the community. Every country today, regardless of the status of economic development, still face the social and other political inequalities. And the social and political inequalities will have to be dealt with. Because of that, we still have different sections of the community with their distinct justice needs. And as long as social and other inequalities continue to be issues of concern, both for collectives and individuals, I think the study of law will always be an open book with never and looking at the future, and we're learning lessons from the past. But more importantly, when we assemble on a subject like this, and when we are also, as two geographical areas, getting more closer and closer, what can bring us more closer, I think, will be as an important question. Well, on the one hand, Dubai, UAE, and all the other countries have a lot of economic and other financial transactions. We still have issues to be resolved. We still have concerns to be addressed. We still have exchanges to be explored further. In all that, these areas and other areas of understanding, I think fostering legal education through his understanding of justice education will be a very important way of opening up our unexplored frontiers, etc. So, but the initial talk about this program came when we came to Dubai twice. We were looking at the role of India and UAE in economic transactions and exchanges, and what arbitral process and other mediation process can do good for both the countries. When we look at that phenomena of arbitration and mediation across the globe, one finds that there has been some kind of a competition and across the world in trying to set up centers of excellence where people can go and have their disputes resolved through well-ordered and well-disciplined mechanisms and procedures. While London, Paris, Singapore, and UAE has also been able to now set up new centers of excellence, I think this area, beyond becoming mere centers of excellence, must also centers of partnership. And how do we really convert centers of excellence into centers of partnership? That can happen, I suppose, only through the mediating element of legal education and law universities. Because that's going to be an area where there's no walls of division, there's no walls of separation. So those who study law will have an open mind. Those who teach law will have a larger mind and bring students into the open mind arena. Therefore, notwithstanding culture, religion, and language, which may apparently seem to be walls of separation, I think human mind and the genius of human mind, as a great German philosopher talked some time ago, the genius of human mind is something which can never be subjected to any of those divisions which confront us. I suppose, therefore, these initiatives like this and to call upon the younger minds in our countries to be able to look beyond what's called one of the great poets in India, Rabindranath Tagore, talked about the narrow domestic walls which may apparently divide us. I suppose this initiative, the invitation, and the call to the younger generation to use law as a holy process and much more holier than our creeds and faiths and religion can be, in order that we are able to have a wonderful marriage, a wonderful amalgamation of what I call the apparent divisions amongst us. So I would congratulate Amity University in taking the initiative, and I wish it would probably continue to be an annual feature when more and more countries and more people and more institutions are called, given that kind of an interest to get into this dialogue, so that over a period of time, maybe in the next decade or so, Amity would have gathered the best of thoughts and ideas and principles and the best of engagements of the younger generation in using and understanding legal education towards greater global understanding and doing towards justice administration. So I wish today's congregation and conference a wonderful time, and I wish that not only you have a wonderful time today, but when we meet again, the warmth of today's congregation will probably continue to hang around us, that we say, well, look here, what happened on such a day was something so wonderful that has become an indelible part of our life and understanding. Thank you for inviting me today for this very brief interaction. I wish the conference a wonderful time.
Thank you for your thought-provoking address. The insights you have shared on the innovations and future pathways in legal education will undoubtedly inspire us all as we move forward today. Now with us we have Professor Kumalingam, Professor of Law at National Law University, Singapore, to contribute to the session. Professor Kumalingam, the floor is yours.
Morning, everybody. I'm delighted to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words. I will try and be brief. I want to start off by quoting a slogan that I saw in this wonderful building. When I came in, I was taken by the amazing architecture, but especially by a slogan up on the wall which read, "The future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it." And I think that's very, very relevant to the theme of our discussions today on digital education and access to justice. We all are excited and passionate about the possibilities that the digital world will offer legal education and access to justice. And we all have grand ideas and ambitions. But the reality is that the devil is always in the details. And so while we do need to have the grand ideas, that we need to imagine it, we also have to find ways to implement it. So we need to have good designs. We need to be able to execute so that we can bring to reality what we want to achieve. So there are two aspects to what I want to talk about, which is part of the theme today. One is on legal education, and then the other is on access to justice. My own background is as an academic, so I'm quite familiar with some of the issues that the digital advancements have presented to academia. And in fact, in Singapore, the government has also taken a deep interest in this, and they have come up with some reform papers to reform not just legal education, but education as a whole in Singapore. So our faculty right now is grappling with some of these changes. So when we talk about education, if we just go back to basics, right, there are three things that we always have to grapple with. The pedagogy, how you deliver the education, the curriculum, which is the content, what you're teaching, and then assessment, right? Because we want to make sure that students have learned what we want them to learn. And we need to make sure that we're aligning the pedagogy, the curriculum, and the assessment. Now, how does digital technology impact all of this? It impacts all of these three areas very, very significantly. So just start with pedagogy, right? The traditional way of teaching is pretty much what we are doing right now. Professor gets up on stage, talks, students listen, take notes. That has already changed over the last few decades, right? That has changed significantly. But digital technology is going to change that far more significantly. We will be in a borderless education world. We already are there to some degree. But when we think about that, what are we talking about? Open source materials, right? Until recently, many of the flagship journals in which academics publish, right, they're all closed. You have to subscribe to them, and they'll post you the journal every month or so. And then some of them went online, but you still had to subscribe, and they were walled. Now more and more of these journals are going open source. Why? Because knowledge is currency, right? More than getting the subscription money, you want people to be able to access what you have to say. So we're moving into this whole open source world. But that means we also need to, going back to that slogan, you can imagine it, but then you need also to design it. So we need to have platforms that are accessible, platforms that are universal. Right? We can't have different platforms where we start to create walls and barriers. That defeats the whole purpose of open access. So that's something that we need to think about as we design this new world. Associated with that, of course, are costs. You need to set up the infrastructure. You need to invest in that infrastructure. You need to think about regulatory issues. One of the previous speakers alluded to this, right? When you put materials up there in open source, how do you protect your intellectual property? So there has to be regulations in terms of how you use these materials, how to attribute to them, who can benefit from the further disposition of these materials. So that's one thing in terms of open source. Second thing is in terms of the pedagogy, again, traditionally, most learning is done synchronously. That means we do it at the same time, right? Teacher gets up, talks, students in the class listening. Now we know, especially after COVID-19, while COVID-19 was, of course, a terrible tragedy, it also changed the way we do things in many, many respects, not just in education, right? In business, government, everything. So now we're getting more and more used to having lectures that are online. We just had 2 already presentations that are online, which would just never have happened in the past, right? But this also lends itself not just to synchronous learning, but asynchronous learning. That means you do it at different times. So you can put up the videos, right? The students can go to work, come back, and then study in the evening, right? You can download assessments at a certain time, upload it at a different time. Students can meet online to have their own little tutorials, right? And then come in with the teacher. So the way that we learn now is going to be very, very different. It's not going to be set according to timetables. It's going to be very, very porous. In addition to that, there are also other innovations that the digital world brings. Gaming, the virtual world, right? These are, again, different ways in which students can engage, can interact, information can be dispersed. So, I mean, I can say a lot more about pedagogy, but I think that gives a flavor to some of the issues. Let me just quickly move on then to the curriculum. So what should we be teaching in a law school that is looking to the future? Well, sorry, we're always looking to the future, right? We're not looking to the past, but more in terms of the digital future. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, as a law school, what is lawyering going to be in the digital world? Again, we've already heard some examples of that. So lawyering in the digital world is going to be quite different from the lawyering that we have seen over the last few decades. We're now at the cusp of change. In another 10 years, it will be a completely different world. Just before I came here, we had, so my faculty, we have an annual lunch with the faculty members and the judiciary. It's just one way for us to keep in touch with each other. And during that lunch, I was talking to one of the judges. And so she was telling me about, I'm sure all of you are familiar with ChatGPT, right? The AI app that you can use. So the judiciary has its own system, right, which is protected. And that system now is so advanced that it can do things which junior lawyers would do. So you can feed in judgments and ask for a 10-line summary. You can look at it, so that's not enough. Then you can tell the system, no, I need a slightly more elaborate summary, but I need you to focus on these key points in the judgment. The system will spit it out instantly. So instead of legal researchers reading judgments and analyzing, AI is doing that. So AI is doing truly intelligent work. We know that AI can draft simple contracts. AI can check contracts for errors. AI now can give simple legal advice. I'll come back to that later when I talk about access to justice. So, apart from including in the curriculum, not just legal subjects, we now have to introduce law students to technology at the level of coding. And we're doing that now at NUS. So NUS students have to do coding as one of the subjects, because you're not going to survive in the future if you are not truly IT savvy, because so much of the work is going to involve that. So much of your research is going to be through AI. And if you cannot talk to AI in its language, you are going to be left behind. So that's a crucial part of the curriculum that we have to think about, really rethink. It also means that we have to be interdisciplinary. We cannot run away from it, right? In the past, we talk about interdisciplinary learning as a luxury. It's always nice to do. Moving forward, it's going to be a necessity. Cannot run away from it. In terms of new issues that will be brought up by digital technology, I've talked about AI. Related to that are the autonomous robots, autonomous robots include your self-driving cars, right? Includes your surgical robots. Just recently, there was complex surgery, a double lung transplant carried out by a surgical robot in the US, right? So we are moving into this world where you're going to have self-learning machines carrying out complex tasks, machines that are going to be making decisions as they carry out. They're going to be adapting, reacting to the situation. Now, how do we program these machines? Not to do the technical bits, but to be aware of their legal responsibilities, their ethical responsibilities. So that's another crucial part of the digital world that's coming in. Again, we can go on, right? We can talk about fintech, crypto, and so on, but that's enough. Let me move on to the third aspect, which is assessment. So, again, assessment, traditionally, do a hypothetical, do some essays, do some feedback, maybe do a class presentation, generally focusing on the law. But now we need to test students on all these other related skills. ChatGPT is an amazing function. When it first sort of came on the scene, and just a few years ago, everybody was very, very frightened, right? You remember this. Everybody was frightened of AI. Some people are still frightened of AI. But we cannot be, because it is here. I remember when I was a young academic in Australia, and one of my senior professors, so that was a time of email, right? So email was the big new thing. And being a young person, I just took to it and I used it. He wouldn't. He would call his secretary and he would dictate, and then she would type the email and send it off. And I kept telling him, why don't you just figure this out? It's so easy, right? Now I'm the older person. I don't have social media. A lot of things are developing which are just too difficult for me, right? Technology changes very, very fast. And so we need to make sure that our students are also adaptable. They cannot fear it. When we got Google, we do all our research on Google, right? Remember the time when people said Wikipedia, don't trust Wikipedia, I will fail you if you use Wikipedia. Today we said, no, that's fine. Actually, it's pretty decent. Just double check. So you can use Wikipedia to start your research. You cannot cite it or rely on it, but then you can go and confirm it, build on it. That's exactly what we're telling students to do with ChatGPT. It's just a much more advanced Wikipedia, a highly intelligent research assistant. But we need to teach them to use it ethically. We need to teach them. You can't cheat just because you can get away with it, because it's very hard to detect what is written by AI. It can be done, but it's not as easy as detecting, say, plagiarism. So in addition to thinking about these issues for assessment, right, how do we, A, test them on these new skills, and B, how do we ensure they're not cheating? We have to build in, again, emphasis on ethics. That's something we've talked about a long time as lawyers, but now especially with these technologies, we have to teach students that you have to be ethical. You are getting tools that will make you very, very powerful, and you can do bad things, but you shouldn't. Not because you're going to get caught, but you shouldn't because it is wrong. That just has to come in again and again and again. Let me move on briefly now to the second theme, which is access to justice. Again, AI is doing amazing things in this area, because with AI, people who cannot afford legal aid, they can actually go to AI platforms which are being developed, and they can ask AI for help with simple things. So when you don't know what you don't know, going to a system for free can figure it out. So legal aid clinics now, in addition to having legal aid lawyers, will also have a bank of desktops, computers, where people can just go there and talk to the AI, which is programmed to respond to the common types of questions that indigent people are normally facing. So it can help in that sense. We also heard about the digital courts, right? Lawyers practicing across the states which is great, but it also means that people have to be trained in cross-cultural discourse. How you have been trained to be a practitioner in the US or the UK or in India or in Singapore will be slightly different in terms of the other countries. So you need to understand how you do advocacy when you're crossing those cultural borders. What else is there in terms of access to justice? I'm talking about the positive things. I'll come to some negatives briefly. Legal resources, precedents, right? Much more readily available. Now we also have AI drafted submissions. We're seeing this in court, right? So litigants in person who go in, and previously they will have handwritten things, terrible grammar, lousy law, because they don't know the stuff. They can't afford the lawyer, right? So the judge has to help these litigants in person quite a lot. More recently, the judges are telling me they're saying submissions by litigants in persons that look like they've been drafted by lawyers, right? But sometimes what they do is when they look at it, they see a case that just doesn't make sense, and then they know, oh, this is the AI hallucinating. So it's an AI drafted submission. And so some courts are developing guidelines on this, right? To say you can do it, but you have to declare that this is AI, and you have to at least provide a guarantee that you've checked it and that the information is accurate so you don't inadvertently mislead the court, right? So those are all the positives. There are some negatives to this sort of digital world, and of course the biggest one is equality, right? This is great for people with resources or countries with resources, but not so for countries without, right? And even if people in the country have resources, if the country doesn't have resources to have the infrastructure, they're not going to have access, right? So there's a huge issue here of equity and who gets access to all of this. The other thing, of course, again, when we heard about, the London practitioners coming and, advocating in the Supreme Court, that does raise the danger that in due course you will have colonization of domestic practice by the global firms, the superpowers. We see that now in business, right? All your small, what we call mom and pop grocery stores are disappearing. Why? Because Carrefour, Lulu, Nesto, they are big, they come in, they take over. This can happen in legal practice. It's a question then whether the local can survive the global. Right now, it's wonderful, it's exciting, the threat is not there. 10 years later, when this is completely enmeshed, will you have the rise of a few super players who start to control everything? Are we then going to start asking for regulation, for protection? Circle of life, we go back. This is not impossible. It is happening right now. If you remember, maybe 40 years ago, at the height of free trade, globalization, the whole world was excited, right? WTO, everything. We are breaking down trade barriers. The leader of that movement today has become anti-globalist. If you look at what's happening in the United States, it's all about barriers, it's all about walls, literally. It's all about protectionism. Why is that? Because suddenly the big player who was enjoying the benefits of free trade has found out that somebody else is becoming bigger and stronger, so they need to protect, so they're reversing back. That's probably going to happen with digital technology and access to justice. So again, it's something, at least we have experience, so we need to look forward. So moving towards that future, we need to ensure that we are regulating at a timely pace to ensure equity, to ensure fairness, to ensure that there's a relatively level playing field. So there are so many things that we need to think about as we move towards this digital future. That's all I have to say. And I just want to thank you for your attention, and I look forward to the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your insights. Now I would like to invite Mr. R. Shantanu Krishnan, Emeritus President, Commonwealth Lawyers Association, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, to chair the plenary session. Sir, kindly share your words.
I think it's no more morning, I think good afternoon. Still good morning. Okay, I stand corrected. Dignitaries and the students of Amity University. As I was listening to all the speakers, I was trying to recall what emerged when we were coming out of the COVID. As we all know, COVID-19 struck all of us. In about 2 years thereafter, the Commonwealth Secretariat conducted a 5-part seminar covering all the regions of Commonwealth. And the seminar concerned as to what should happen to the delays that are there in the justice delivery system. The unanimous opinion that emerged in the 5 parts webinar, as they call it, was twofold. One, they said we must use technology to overcome the delays because delays were already in existence. Added to that was COVID-19. So technology should be used. Number 2, mediation as a mechanism for dispute resolution should be put in vogue to overcome the delays that are existing in the court system across the world. In light of these developments, as we are navigating through the new digital technology, which is part of our life system today. We have started witnessing the e-learning, where the students are also taught from a distance from those who are experts in the field. Similarly, we have been witnessing or going through the online court system. Earlier, a speaker was sharing, for the past 3 years, across the United Arab Emirates and across this world, all the courts are functioning through online. And in addition to that, when we talk about the dispute resolution, ODR, the online dispute resolution mechanism, which has taken place, which has taken is part of the digital dispute resolution system. As we are witnessing through all this, as we are navigating and then treading our path towards the future, we also in the process encounter, as my predecessor speaker was saying, equality is a big problem. So we need to regulate. Regulation mechanism has to be in place so that we deal with all those things which were non-existent earlier, should again be facing with that and then deal with that. Besides that, we have the cyber security problem. So we need a robust security system that can save our information, the way in which we do things. While we think on all these lines, we also have to keep in mind the future, as we have been discussing the future pathways. What comes to my mind is, we need to think in terms of collaboration, which is what this platform is meant for. Commonwealth and the UAE, and then much more beyond that. We need to collaborate with each other because we are today in an increasingly interdependent world. Besides climate change, AI is a major preoccupation in which we are worried about the future. So this gives us, the collaboration gives us not only to deal with various situations, and also in the process lay down the standardization. one need to have this standardized practice, first discover it and then standardize this. And that could happen only by this kind of collaborations like the platform in which we are existing today. These and plus many other things will help us while we are treading to or navigating through this process of not only justice delivery systems, but also legal education to the students from across the world. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you for your insight, sir. What a cell of intellectuals we encounter today. Gatherings like these certainly serve as a muse to aspiring lawyers. Allow us to appreciate by presenting token of appreciation and felicitation. I would like to request Vice Chancellor Dr. Saif Al-Siari, Amity University, Dubai, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Rifid Al-Khadar, Dean Haas Dr. Ratnesh Mishra, Dean Business Dr. Ali Minasa, Dean Engineering Dr. Satish Kannan to facilitate our distinguished guests and speakers. Mr. Shafi Mokril, kindly join us on this stage. May we have Dr. Ahmed on this stage, please? Thank you. Mr. Shafi Mokril. Professor Kumar Lingam, kindly join us on this stage. Professor Kumar Lingam. Mr. R. Shantana Krishnan, kindly join us on this stage. Mr. Ashish Mehta, founder, AMA Lawyers, kindly join us on this stage. Mr. Ashish Mehta. Dignitaries, kindly stay back on this stage. I would like to take this opportunity to release our Amity Law Journal 2024, Volume 8, Series 1. Kindly unveil the cover page. This is our Amity Law Journal 2024, Volume 8, Series 1. The journal is focused on law and interdisciplinary research. It is a biannual journal. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, our esteemed speakers, for the insightful contributions. We truly appreciate time and valuable perspectives, and we are grateful to have had you join us today. Nevertheless, on behalf of Amity University, Dubai, we want to extend our deepest gratitude to Ashish Mehta, AMA Lawyers, and YK Law Firm, and the law reporters, Menon's Legal and Enroll Legal, for your generous support and sponsorship. Your contribution has played certainly a pivotal role in making Commonwealth-UAE Law Conclave 2024 a remarkable success today. We are proud to have you as a valued partner in our mission to Amity University, Dubai. Together, we are making a meaningful difference. Once again, thank you for your commitment and generosity. We look forward to building on this partnership and achieving even greater milestones together. Well, this brings us to the end of our inaugural session, and we now look forward to the thought-provoking discussions and breakout sessions throughout the day. At this point, we are going to take a short break for lunch and networking. This is a wonderful opportunity to connect with fellow participants, exchange ideas, and continue the conversations sparked by our sessions today. The volunteers will be available to guide you to the designated meeting rooms. We encourage you to return to the rooms so that we can continue with our exciting discussions. Thank you very much. Thank you.